Let's continue. Can you people like ask the other people come here? Can you ask the other people to come in? Can you ask other people to come back here? Yes, here, come back here. Okay, so let's continue. Please gather back, come back here, find your seats. If you see somebody around the corner, can you see somebody around the corner? If there is anybody, can you ask them to come back here? Thank you. Okay, welcome back from a short coffee break. Are you feeling okay? Yes, okay. If you're feeling like really bad and tired, you can show this. If you're feeling mediocre, if you're feeling great, this. Okay, put your thumbs up now. Or okay, mostly like kind of okay. Nice. Okay, so we have pretty good energy level, even though I've been talking a lot, and I will continue to do so. I will be talking to you now. I promised you in the program that I'll be talking to you about creativity and group processes. I'm going to be very briefly going through like the super basics of group and teamwork. Really like the basics of it. Okay, so this is not like, you know, rocket science level. This is very basic ones. And first I want to say to you about, does everybody hear me? Yeah. Good. First thing I want to say about creativity, like usually we also have some issues with like defining even what creativity is. And if you probably noticed now that I went through my work that I'm pretty creative. So I just want to like tell you what creativity is. It's a phenomenon whereby something new and somehow valuable is formed. And the new part about this is that we have like, you know, a lot of ideas and things that we have done already in this world of ours, but then, you know, creating something new is still possible. And the most simple thing to do that actually is to put two old ideas together and you will make a new one. If you think about, for example, the hairy underwear, like that's like, you know, hair, yeah, that exists. Pubic hair, we know that exists, but then putting that into underpants, which is the other, you know, part of the whole idea, putting those two together, you will have something new. And valuable is the other part of the creativity. Like creativity is also determined by or defined by that the whole idea has to be valuable somehow, like it has to be useful. And that's about being creative. And now I want to challenge you is to, like, even though I'm an artist and I'm bragging here, like, as you noticed, I'm very creative. My, you know, thesis or my mission is to also make sure that everybody realizes that they have that creativity in them. Like I hate the fact when, you know, people say that, yeah, but you know, you're so creative because you're an artist. Yeah, I am creative, but so is everybody else who is like, even though you're not a designer or artist, everybody is creative because, you know, we are here. We evolved from the caves to be here. It means that there's creativity is used every single day in just, you know, solving the issues and the problems that we face every day. So each one of you is creative by definition. Okay? And then I want to talk about the paradox of group creativity. So usually, if we think about the history of, you know, creative people, they've been these individuals who have created something phenomenal. And then, you know, nowadays we need to work in groups a lot. Like, and if we think about IDBM, the whole idea is that, you know, we bring people from different backgrounds, from different disciplines, with different type of experience and expertise. We bring these people together, and something phenomenal should be, you know, created in that team. But the thing is that there is a paradox between, you know, group and creativity, because as individuals, we want to be very individuals. You know, we want to be like seen as we are, and we want to, you know, we want to be a little bit something different than, you know, the group around us. You know, we want to be individuals. We want to be seen as who we are and how we are. We want to be heard as how we are. And so we want to be individuals. And then, you know, being part of the group means that there's a danger of, you know, losing your individuality. But still, as social animals, we need also to be surrounded by other people. So when a baby is born into a world, it actually cannot survive without a group of people around it. You know, if baby is born and it's left by itself into the forest, somebody will eat it. You know, it doesn't, she or he doesn't, it doesn't survive. We need other people around us in order to survive the world, the life. So what is so paradoxical about it is that we know that every time we have an idea, it's the best idea because it's my idea, you know? You know, everybody has this feeling like, oh yeah, I have this great idea, you know, my idea is the best. So you guys, you need to listen to me. I have already solved this. This is the greatest idea. You need to listen to me. So we know this. We've been through that. But then, you know, because we are individuals and then we have the group, how do we actually manage that paradox of, you know, us wanting to be individuals but part of the group and then still being creative? Because where creativity comes from, it does come from us. It comes from, you know, when I'm being creative, it's me being creative. But the thing is that my creativity comes from the fact that I am engaged in interaction with the world and the people around me. So that's where the creativity comes from. Like my ideas does not like evolve inside me. I did not live in a barrel in a dark cage and just got my ideas from, you know, from my genius brain. All my ideas came from just being in interaction with other people and with the world. So the thing is that the hard part about being creative in a group is that we are creative better. We are actually much more creative when we are doing, you know, our creative thinking by ourselves. But then what happens is that when we work in a group, we also need to listen to other people's ideas as well. So, and sometimes, you know, what happens is that, you know, it might be that you have the most greatest idea, but then the other person actually can add something to that idea and make it even better. Like you can actually enhance and make your ideas better in a group. So the reason why I'm talking about this is that I'm going to be giving you, or actually you have tried already one of those tools where you can actually like separate, like first doing stuff by yourself and then doing that in a group. But then I want to talk about a little bit about every team's goals. Like every single team has two goals. The first one is to achieve the set goal, like whatever that task is, the project that you step into together. And you have, like, let's say now in IDBM Challenge, you will have some sort of a project you need to achieve, you know? You will have a set goal, like something concrete that you need to achieve. So as a team, that's your first goal, is to achieve that goal, you know? But then you also have the other goal, which is to become a team that can actually achieve the goal. You get it? So you actually need to, you know, grow up a little bit together. You need to become a team that can perform as well as possible in order to actually achieve that goal that you're supposed to achieve. So those are like two goals of a team. And that is every time you step and you become a part of a team, remember that those two goals are there. Usually we forget the goal number 2, or we are not aware of that. And if the goal number 2 is not achieved, meaning like you don't actually, you know, become the team who is able to achieve the goal, you won't be achieving the goal, or you will achieve the goal to be, you know, your results are something like mediocre. But if you want to get into great results, you need to become the team who can actually achieve the goal. You understand what I'm talking about? Is this clear? Okay, so remember, every time you become a part of a team, make sure that the whole team knows that we also need to become a real high performance team. We need to learn how to work together so that we can actually achieve the goal. Well, how do you do that then? I will tell you later. But then the very basic team process by Bruce Tuckman. Is there somebody who knows about this? Has read about this? Yes, there's a couple of. This is like the really basic version of this. Really basic version, like how actually you create a team. What is the process of a team? First one is you form. You form a team, meaning like you actually come together. You come together, then you have like 5, 4, 6, 7 people in a team. And then after that you start storming, which means that you actually start, when you start to get to know each other, you start to work together. You will probably have a lot of conflicts because you're just trying to get to know how this other person works and what is the values of this person, like where are we going to. So you storm a lot. And that's the hardest part of being a group, that you always need to storm a little bit to become actually a high performance team. Because the storming that happens after the forming of the team is that you actually set what is the values that you work on, and what is what you actually are even working for, and what is the purpose of your work. And then after that, the step number 3 is norming, which means that after storming, like having a couple of conflicts and in the air, setting out the ground rules and okay, how do we actually work together without getting into these conflicts all the time? You norm. You become like a group. You start to norm and conform into the reality of your team. You get to, okay, this is my role, this is your role, and this is how we, get to actually achieve our goal when we know how we work together. Everything kind of like smooths down and it starts to be much more nicer. And then the last in Tuckman's theory is the performing. Then you actually, after you have formed and you have stormed and you have normed, then you start the performing, meaning like you actually start to work to achieve the goal, whatever that is. After Tuckman, there has been like all kinds of additions to this, which is like, for example, adjourning and then, mourning and transforming and all kinds of things. But, one thing that I already added to the list, which is like the most, one is also as important as these Tuckman's process, is that you also, the one thing that is always specific to teams is that you start a project, you work together, you go through these phases, and then you also end the project, which means that your group or your team is separated, and then it ends. Like it starts and it ends, and in the end, of course, you're kind of like then mourning, like being sad over that. Okay, now I need to end up this great project that we had. But you mourn only if you had a great experience, most of the time I know a lot of people don't mourn so much about, ending a project because they had a shitty time with their teammates, right? It's like, I can't stand that person. It was terrible to work with that person. So you mourn if you had a great experience with your team. So now I'm going to be talking to you about the 5 dysfunctions of a team, which is a theory by Patrick Lencioni from 2002. And I also have, in the end of this this presentation, which Mikko will be sharing with you, I have a list of books that you can go through. But Patrick Lencioni has been doing a lot of organizational development projects, and he designed this, or actually created this theory of there is these 5 most significant dysfunctions in a team that makes the team not perform so well. And these dysfunctions are, I'm going to show them to you, and then after that there is also going to be solutions. How do you go over these? I'm not going to go through the solutions very thoroughly. You can read it by yourself then afterwards, but you can find it from the presentation anyway. But the first dysfunction of a team is absence of trust, which means that the most important and the relevant cornerstone of making a team work is to build trust. There has to be trust, and this can be applied to small teams all the way into bigger organizations. This is the core thing that has to be there in order people to be able to work together. That you need to trust the people that you're working with. And if you talk about in an organizational level, there has to be trust by individual to the organization that, you know, this organization will stick this shit through with me. That, you know, I can trust this organization to, you know, that they have my back. So what that actually means is also that it's unwillingness to be vulnerable. Yes, vulnerable. Yeah. Within the group. And so there you also have the answer for like how to build trust in a group. The main answer to that is to be vulnerable. Vulnerable. So that is like the main answer to how to build trust. And where does vulnerability come from? Where does it come from? It comes from sharing something personal. Sharing your failures, for example. That is super like being vulnerable in front of everybody else. Like, okay, I have failed. I have failed big time. You know, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. It's like being human. It's like being, I'm a human being, you know. I'm not a superhuman. I'm not a superman. I'm not a superwoman. So the first core thing is that when you start to build trust with your team is to be vulnerable, is to be open to failures, to be human, to be more personal. And that is what we did here today when, you know, I put you there and you were drawing the, you know, the portraits. What happened is that actually first of all, I asked you to come out of your comfort zone, which is like, okay, go and draw. For some people, it's very comfortable. So for some people, it's not at all. It's like totally out of their comfort zone. Second of all, I asked you to be vulnerable because, you know, what happens is that if it's not in your comfort zone, you probably feel like, you know, this drawing really failed big time. You know, you just draw something and it didn't become so perfect as you wanted it to be. So, you know, it's, you know, agreeing with, okay, I'm going to fail. And that's being vulnerable. And then what I also asked you to share is that something that you really feel passionate about or what you love. That's being personal. So when you share something personal with somebody, you actually ask them to, can you relate to me? I want to relate with you. Like, for example, was there anybody who had any similar passions or loves, like when you were talking with your partner? Did you find like there was something similar? Was there similarities? Yeah. Yes. So that is how you build trust. That's how you build trust. It's that I don't mean like after, you know, sharing something personal, you become like this that you can, you know, put your life to these people's hands. No, I'm not saying that. But what I say is that by sharing something personal and being relatable and finding some similarities in you and in the other person starts to build an atmosphere of trust in the team. Okay. Is this clear now? You know now how to build trust. You know how to do that? You know how to do that? Yes. Yeah, okay, great. Other dysfunction of a team is a fear of conflict, which means seeking artificial harmony over constructive, passionate debate. So fear of conflict means that, you know, we need to be like sheep. We need to be in harmony, like artificial harmony. Like I don't want to deal with conflict. I just say like, yeah, it's a great idea, even though I'm thinking like it's a shitty idea because I don't want to have a fight. I don't want to argue. I don't want to say. I don't want to. So, and that is a dysfunction in a team, because when you have the trust of the team, which means that you know that nobody's going to kill you or put you out of the team if you disagree. That's what it means. Like I can actually like say what I think. I don't need to be rude. I don't need to be an asshole. But I can say like, okay, I disagree with this. I think that, you know, maybe we should look at this from this angle, and, you know, maybe there is another way we can do this as well. So when you create trust, you can also say what you think about stuff that you're doing. So fear of conflict and seeking artificial harmony is a dysfunction in the team, because what happens is that if that is present in the team, happens is that you won't get into the revolutionary ideas. Remember I said there's bad ideas, there's mediocre ideas, there's good ideas, and then there's revolutionary ideas. If you have a team that is already all the time like being like, yeah, okay, it's fine, it's okay, you're not performing as well as you could. There's much more potential in you than just saying like, yeah, it's fine, it's okay. It's kind of like, okay, idea, I don't want to fight about this. Okay. So, third dysfunction of a team is lack of commitment. Feigning buy-in for group decisions creates ambiguity throughout the organization. What this means is that you will have a group of people who don't have, first of all, the trust. And now I say this, like the trust is the more core thing that actually solves a lot of stuff happening afterwards. So if there is no lack of commitment, it means that people don't feel like there is like a real meaning to what they're doing. They don't feel like they serve a role in the team. That there is really like, nah, somebody else will do this for me. You know, I'm not really committed. Okay, yeah, hey, I have something more important to do. You know, so maybe you guys you meet, but you know, I have other priorities today. And lack of commitment comes from like not being engaged, feeling like you actually have a role and a task in the group, and that also starts in a very early on. If you think about like a group of 5 people, and then you know somebody just like takes over the leadership, and which usually happens, and it's fine. You know, you need to have a leader, but you know if the leader is such that you know you will start to like, let's say that you're my team, you're my 5, and I'm your leader. I just kind of, hey, I can be the leader, and then I give the ideas. This is how I think that we should solve this problem. I have awesome ideas, and my ideas are the best. So, and now I want you to go and do this, you to go do that, and you will do this, and you will do this, and you will do this. You will not be committed to whatever I'm saying, because you didn't. These guys were not, you know, participating in first of all like creating the ideas, or even like finding like what is the most important thing that we should be doing next, and then you know I'm just giving orders. That's being a bad leader, and that's creating a team where there is no commitment to whatsoever you're doing, because you know you did not engage or you didn't participate in creating whatever you're going to do. So everybody needs to participate in ideation, in you know creating an action plan, creating you know next steps, you know everything. Everybody needs to participate, especially in the beginning. Of course, then when you have roles, then you know that okay, this is my duty, this is my responsibility, I will take care of this. But always like when you start a project, everybody needs to be engaged. Fourth one is the avoidance of accountability, ducking the responsibility to call peers on counterproductive behavior which sets low standards. This means that if you don't have the trust, there's the absence of trust in the team, which is the first dysfunction, then this also happens pretty easily. We don't want to make our team members accountable for behavior that does not really feed into us achieving the goal that we are supposed to achieve. This means that you know we give a pass to people who doesn't perform as good as they could. So what I challenge you in your becoming teamworks is that now that I know that yesterday you made the team contract, right? So go through again that and try to figure out ways how you can actually, like, if somebody is doing something that does not agree with your contract or is doing something that is counterproductive to your goal, how do you deal with that? How do you face that? Like, how do you actually like say to, hey, okay, I noticed that you're not very committed. I noticed that, you know, you don't come to our meetings. So maybe we'd go through this, like how you could actually be more committed, and, you know, because we need you. We really need you. We need each one of you to be present. So think about that when you form your groups. Or did you form the groups already? You know your team. You know your team. Okay, yes. Okay, so go through again that. And the last dysfunction of a team is inattention to results, focusing on personal success, status, and ego before team success. Okay, so this is like what a team is about. Team is about to actually performing together. It's not about individual performance. Of course, everybody performs individually when they do their tasks and their responsibilities, but everything that you do has to be because of your common goal, the goal that you are supposed to achieve together, not because, you know, you're going to be rewarded, you know, by your great performance, and I'm gonna get, as a team leader, I'm going to be rewarded for this. No, it has to be that you always think about the success of your team, not your own ego. And this is the hardest part because we all love our egos, right? Try to put your egos aside a little bit. And the sixth one that I actually added here because of the creativity part is that one dysfunction of a creative team is this misbelief of creativity to being like what's that, a treat for only like these so-called creative people, which means designers and artists, because everybody can be creative. So, and that's set. You understand that now? Yes, good. So then, I'm not going to go through all these solutions and tools for you, but you can find this. Like I have put it them like a sense of trust. Like how do you build trust? You build trust by sharing personal stories, being relatable, embracing failures, being humane, having as many one-to-one interactions as possible, dissolving hierarchies, and being an example. I want to say though one thing is that how to build trust is to actually, I forgot to say that then, it's like dissolving hierarchies, which means that if you have a group of people together and then there is like, let's say like you are in an organization. Now I think that you're pretty much in the same level, you're all students and everything, but when you're in a organization and you form teams where you have people who are in a higher level in the hierarchy and then some people who are a little bit lower level, what happens is that this doesn't build very much trust, because that creates actually an atmosphere of fear. Meaning like people are afraid of failure because there is somebody who is in a higher status in the hierarchy and they feel like, okay, they are monitoring me. Like if I fail, they will be, hold me accountable of being a failure. Maybe I will not get my raise, or maybe I will get even fired. So always like dissolving hierarchies in the group is better than to actually like make it more solid. And the way that you do it is that do not care about each other's titles at all. Like just be like kind of like, yeah, okay, I have this experience, so what this and this many years of experience, but it doesn't really matter. It matters, I can contribute, but it doesn't make me better than you. So dissolve hierarchies. So, and then I have solutions and tools for fear, like how to get rid of fear of conflict, and I have solutions and tools for how to create commitment. I have solution tools for how to create accountability, and also how to create result orientation. And then I want to go deep into how to create creativity in a team, how to be creative together. And we're going to be trying tools for this, and I'm going to like explain you a couple of things before we go into like to the tryouts. First of all, the one and the most, let's go to this actually. Yes. Let's go to this. So the one and the most important thing about being creative in a group is to design a process where you divide the divergent and the convergent, yes? The stages in different stages, which means that here in the divergent area, this means like being non-critical, and here in the convergent section, it means that being highly critical. And this is the process that you should be always thinking about when you are creating ideas together with people. Always separate being non-critical and being highly critical. And what I mean with this is that if does anybody know about like brainstorming, like how brainstorming works, like Osborne's method? Well, is there somebody who doesn't know what brainstorming is? Basically, brainstorming is like, the whole method is that, let's gather around the table and everybody can throw like whatever ideas. There is no bad ideas, there's no good ideas, there's just ideas, and even the craziest ideas can be thrown on the table. And what usually happens is that, we get overly critical even to our own thoughts. We sit there around the table, we see our boss sitting next to us or in front of us, and we think, I can't say this. I have this idea, but I can't say this. This probably sucks. And maybe he will think that it's a bad idea. I won't say it. This is what usually happens. But if you have trust in a group, what happens is that then you trust that, you're not going to lose your face if you say something stupid, you show your project of dog poo or anything else, things like this. So you have to create the atmosphere of trust, and after that, design the process so that first, there is no bad ideas, there is no good ideas, there's just ideas, like no criticism at all. Like, try to lower the criticism in your own head and also towards other people's ideas. And what usually happens in a group is that, you know, when you try to brainstorm some sort of idea, okay, how we should resolve this, and then one person says like, hey, I have a great idea, and then, you know, you have one idea, and then you cling on to that one idea, yeah, let's do this, yeah, it's a great idea, let's do this, without even like trying to find other ideas that might be better and more valuable and useful. You just kind of like grab onto the one idea, and then you stay there. And what you should actually do is like always try to find as much ideas first. No, no, you don't try to find the best solution. You just like, okay, as much ideas as possible first. Let's say like, you know, you sit together and just like, okay, for 5 minutes, each one of you write down like 10 ideas. There's no bad ideas, there's no good ideas, there's just ideas. Write down 10 ideas, and then after that, we will choose from those ideas. And that means being highly critical. First, you're being non-critical, and then convergent, you're being highly critical. Then in a highly critical phase, you take the ideas that you have created, a mass of ideas, a lot of ideas, and you evaluate them, and you choose a couple of good ones. The ones that, you know, you have, of course, you have a criteria, like what kind of ideas you're looking for. So remember always to separate these parts. The worst enemy is in your head. Remember? It's in your head. Your criticism towards yourselves is the worst enemy. So, and another tool for being creative together in a group and also engage everybody in conversations is me, we, us. And you have used this already here today. Did you realize that I was using this tool, or do you know? Did you realize that in some point you were doing something by yourselves, then you were talking in a group, and then we took like all the questions? So that's what I did. I used this me, we, us method to actually get all of your thoughts and all of your, you know, your ideas to me. What happens is that first in the me phase, I asked you to write down all by yourself all that, you know, I had these questions like, okay, what do you remember, and what kind of questions do you have, and what does this mean to you as an IDBM student? And then you wrote down like everything on your own paper. And then I said like, okay, I'm going to put you in groups, and then you formed groups of 5 or 4, and there you shared in the we phase, you shared with your group, okay, these were my thoughts, this was the questions that I had, and then in the us, I was sitting here in front of you, and you know, you had chosen like the most important questions to you, and then, you know, I answered them. That was like the us phase. And what happens when you use a method like this is that you actually get everybody to participate. If you like compare that, me using this into like me giving a presentation to you, and then I would have just asked you like, okay, does anybody have any questions? And I would not have had the time to answer each one of your questions. You know, I have a certain limited amount of time to answer your questions. Then I would have probably got like maybe 5 questions, yes. But maybe these questions were something that, you know, you wanted to ask something else, but then now you had a chance to actually talk with your friend, like, okay, what do you think that is more relevant? Like, what would be like most useful for me as well? So what happened is that everybody got to participate. Everybody got to like talk about what is the most relevant questions, and then, you know, we got those questions here. So this tool is super democratizing, or how do you say that? Democratizing? Yeah, democratizing. Equalizing? Innovatizing? Yes, something like this. So which means that, you know, not only one person gets to ask their question, not only one person gets to give their idea. If you think about this as a part of like ideation process, you know, first because you write down all your ideas by yourself, then you share them with the group, and then you choose together. And this is also how you get more ideas than just, you know, somebody asking, hey, does anybody have any ideas? And then we get like 2 ideas. Yeah, I have this idea. Or, yeah, I have this idea. Now, with this method, you get a whole lot more ideas, because the importance of whole lot more ideas is this. 100 shitty ideas equals 1 good. Which means that when you're creating something new, remember that volume in ideas brings quality, always. The more ideas you have, the most likely there will be one diamondy, one revolutionary idea there in between of these 100 shitty ideas. So because we usually get so caught up with the first idea, and okay, we don't even go further. We don't even like bother to think of if there is any other ideas beyond that first idea, but there usually is, because the first idea that we get is the most obvious ones. The ideas that we get first is the most obvious ones. That's why we need to challenge ourselves. Like, okay, what is after that? What type of ideas we can get after these obvious ideas? And what is beyond this first idea? So that's why always in ideation phase, create a lot of ideas. Just like as many ideas. And they can be really shitty. They can be really mediocre. They can be good. But just a lot of them. Because then next, as I told you, first you create a lot, then you choose. Okay, and now we're going to try some methods. You have tried already like one method, how to build trust, how we started today, remember? You started with drawing. That's like building trust, being vulnerable, you know, getting to know each other, being personal. That's like part of the like trust building methods. Then you tried also the me, we, us method together. Now you're going to try the listing method. This is very revolutionary. You're going to make lists. The reason why we do this is that, like I told you, 100 shitty ideas equals 1 brilliant one. So listing ideas, just making like huge lists of things and challenging yourself to actually like I told you, like in the first place, I said like I challenge you to, you know, draw 10 portraits. Now you have to challenge yourself to, you know, create at least 15 ideas of each of these challenges I'm going to give you. So take your paper and pen. And this is for just, you know, this is like brain exercise. Brain exercise. This is getting like, you know, getting your, because everybody's ideas first are the obvious ones. And then after that comes something else. Then we start to get into brilliance. Okay, so now you have like approximately a couple of minutes time to, like, let's say I will give you 1.5 minutes to list white foods. White foods. At least 15. Everybody should have at least 15 white foods. Yes?
White? That's a color.
White foods. If you get stuck, start to think about the definition of white. We already had the question, okay, what is actually white? Like, what is that? If you get stuck, start to think about, okay, what is the definition of food? What is food? What is the stuff you can eat? What is things that you can actually eat? What if, you know, you eat something poisonous? You're still eating, right? Okay, 30 seconds. White foods. 15 at least. White foods. Something you can put in your mouth. White things. Okay, all right, that's it. Is there somebody who actually got 15 ideas? Is there, yeah, okay, man, plenty. Okay, good. Is there somebody, you know, you got more than 5? Who got more than 5? Yeah, most of the people. Yes, great. Okay, nice. What was revolutionary for you? So give me a one white revolutionary food. Yes.
Paint.
Okay, white paint. Yeah, basically, if if you're a paint lover, you might like eating paint. Nice. Something else. Revolutionary white food. What else? Yes.
Paper.
Paper. Yes. You know, when kids eat paper. Does anybody have snow, for example? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So you know. Okay. Good. Then. Round purple objects. Or things. Round purple things, objects. Let's make this a little bit shorter. I give you 30 seconds more. Okay, did anybody get any revolutionary ideas about round purple objects? Yes, come on. Or do you still have obvious ones? Yes, yes.
Purple dyed tomato.
What? Purple what?
Purple painted tomato.
Okay, purple painted tomato. I think that's pretty revolutionary. Yes, yes, something else? Yes?
Barney, the dinosaur.
Barney the dinosaur. Yes, nice, good, good. Okay, and then list different ways of using your pen. At least 15. Try to get at least 15. What you can do with your pen. 30 seconds. What you can do with your pen. And you don't need to be correct, remember? You don't need to be politically correct. This list is only for yourself, you know? You can also be nasty. You can be murderous. Because nobody's going to blame you on anything, you know? Okay, that list is done. Okay, anybody any revolutionary, funny ways of using your pen? Who can reveal their darkest closets? How can you? What do you want to use your pens to? For? Anybody?
Actually, someone's used to eat their pen.
For eating?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay, yeah. Something else? Yeah.
Scratching your back.
Scratching your back. Yes.
I wrote escaping from real life. You start to write a story.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's revolutionary. Nice. Yes. And something else? What else?
Well, you said killing, so being a spy.
Yes, yes, exactly. So we got some revolutionary ideas how to use your pen. Not the obvious one is of course writing, but then after that when you start to challenge yourself, you get some other ideas. Last one. List different ways of how to wipe your butt. At least 15. I give you a minute and a half. 15 ways of wiping your butt. And laughing is also allowed in some point. You get into a point where it starts to get ridiculous. It's okay. Think about all the objects you have in bathrooms. Nice. Think about all the bathrooms that you've been in. And what about if you're not in a bathroom? Okay, 30 seconds. Get some great ideas how to wipe your butt. I want to hear something phenomenal, you know? Okay, all right, so the moment of truth. Who wants to reveal their craziest ideas of how to wipe their butt? Anyone? Come on, yes.
Not to wipe and lie about it.
Oh yes, not to wipe and lie about it. Nice. What else?
Leave the toilet and go to a snow pile.
Okay, leave the toilet and go to snow pile. Okay, pile of snow. Okay, yeah, roll in the snow. Okay, good. Yes. Something else? Yes. With a bathroom cleaner? Vacuum cleaner. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, one more. Yes. Sit on the sofa. Nice, especially if you're visiting somebody. That's nice. Okay, so give yourself a round of applause for this brain action of yours. So remember, like, listing of things is a very good tool, especially like if you would think like now you had a challenge to how to solve a certain issue or a problem. Yes, yes.
Sorry to break.
Yeah.
Kind of interrupt. We had one more from Copenhagen.
Yes, yes.
Different ways wiping your butt.
Yeah,
right?
yes, yes, yes.
With a cat.
With a cat, yes, yes. Applause to that. With a cat, yes. So this is a very good tool for, it's so simple and it's really good for just, you know, getting out the obvious ideas. Like first you get the obvious ones, you know, writing, you know, using your pen, writing, you know, maybe, you know, picking your ear or your nose or whatever. Then you start to get into murderous ones and then, you know, okay, maybe I can build like Barbie, what's the hand sticks or walking sticks out of this or whatever, you know. So you get out of the obvious ones first and then you get to the ones that are not so obvious. And if you're in a team, if you're working with your group of people, you start with like, you work individually, meaning like with this, you start individually, then you share your ideas and then you choose the best ones. And, and after that, you know, you can start to evolve the ideas. You know, you understand. So start with doing that by yourself, and then, you know, taking it to another level. Then I want to talk about like comfort, discomfort, and you know, creativity is all about like taking you out of your comfort zone. Also, like that, you know, in order to actually create new ideas, you need to come out of your comfort zone, and that's what I also did a little bit. You know, taking you to, you know, thinking about, you know, you wiping your butt, and then even sharing that among other people. That might be uncomfortable for some people. So, but then also like in the uncomfort zone, like what happens is that you change the angle to the thing that you're trying to resolve. So I'm going to take you out of your comfort zone right now, right here, and we're going to do this for 5 minutes. It says here 10, but we're going to do it for 5. And I'm going to say this to you that we're running a little bit over time, so we will probably finishing 10 minutes late. If everybody's okay, is everybody okay with that? That's good. Okay. So 5 minutes. I'm going to ask you to form a group of 3s and try to find people not who you're sitting next to, but somebody who you haven't been so much talking to or sitting next to. And you have to do it fast. I don't want to be seeing people like wonder like, where should I go? No, you just, you know, you go and form a team of 3. And in this team, you will add to each other's ideas by saying yes and I am, because the thing that you're going to be playing is threesome. Oh, this is not about sex. Don't worry about it. You don't have to. It's no. But what you were doing, like, okay, can I ask you 2 girls come here, please? I'm going to show you. So we are a team of 3 now, and I'm going to start, and I'm going to say like, come here, come closer. Don't worry, it's okay. This is safe. So I'm going to say like, I'm tree. I'm a tree, and then I act to be a tree. And then what you have to do is to make an addition to the tree. Yes, and I am. What are you?
Bird.
Okay. Then you're a bird.
Yes, and I'm the sun.
Okay, and you're the sun. Great, and that's it. And then, you know, next one just steps in. Like, just be fast, like as fast as possible. You don't have to. Don't think about anything like, oh, I am the molecule in the universe, and like, don't go there. Just something really obvious, like, okay, I'm a cat. What are you? And then, you know, I'm a. Because, you know, you could be, you know, the cat poo, or you could be the cat owner, or whatever. So like, be as fast as possible. Just, you know, always say yes and. So now you have 5 minutes to do this. Play this game of threesome with your team. So find a team of 3 and people who you don't know so well, and play this game. And find some space for yourself as well. Try to find some space. But you can also be like 5 of you. It's fine if you're yeah, it can be 5. Okay. But then you need to, everybody needs to contribute. Like don't, like, nobody can just like watch, like, it's okay. And remember to act. Remember to act out. Remember to act.
I'm am a crime economist.
Three minutes.
I don't like it.
3 minutes.
I'm the wind.
3 minutes.
Yes, and I am.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Electricity.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
I'm a bike.
Last minute. Last minute. Last minute. Last minute. 1 minute. Now your job is to give high fives to your team and give a round of applause after that, and really, really like cool high five. Yes, 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 yes. Come back to your seats. Come back to your seats. So what we did here was that I asked you to, add to your friend's idea with starting with the phrase yes and. The usually thing that we do is when somebody comes up with an idea, we say like, yeah, but. That's actually saying like, no, I really don't like your idea. You say yes, but then say but. Because then you start to like, yeah, but maybe you shouldn't be a tree. Maybe you should be, a car. Or maybe you should be something else. So when you're ideating and you're going through the phase of like now just create as much ideas as you can, then you always have to say to your colleagues, to your team members, like, yeah, that's a great idea and I could add on this, Like be excited about whatever that idea is, because in this point you're not supposed to be critical, you're just supposed to actually create as much ideas as possible. So you just always say yes and, no yes but. Or not like and no no's. Like no, you're not a tree. No, that's not cool. I don't agree with this. So that's like being like super critical. So remember always like in the ideation phase to say yes and add to your friend's idea. And the thing that we did here was actually like it's a really good exercise just for your brains to like to get into the mode of like being influenced by others. Like saying like, okay, yeah, okay, that's an idea. Okay, I can add on this. Okay, I can be this. And it's just like a training for your brain to get into a more creative mode. How was this for you? How was it? Was it fun at all? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, nice. Did you have any revolutionary ideas there, you feel? Not yet. Okay. So then the last thing that we're going to do as a tryout method is to connect the unconnected. So like I said here in the first place is what creativity is, to create something new and that is valuable. And mostly new ideas are just combination of old ones. Like old ideas, bringing them together and creating something new out of old ideas. So what I will ask you to do is now to connect the unconnected, meaning like you have several different ideas that you will connect together and create an idea of. You will see there is this tiny papers somewhere around. You know, there is some. Take a little pile of these, like maybe let's say maybe like 10 to 12, maybe 12 of these. And each one of you, and if you can't find more, just take some paper and rip it yourself, because the idea is for you to actually write down on these little notes. In one, you will write down nouns, which means objects, like a pen or a car or an eye. Head, shoe, leg, space, whatever it doesn't matter what it is. Nouns, objects, things. And write down at least 3 nouns, like so that you will have 3 nouns, okay? And then other 3 you will write, next one you will write down doings, verbs like running, ice skating, drinking, talking, sitting, whatever, what things that come to you. And 3 of these again. And then the last one, adjectives, meaning like what kind of, like attributes, meaning like maybe like wooden, stony, tired, happy, smiley, hairy, whatever that is, what kind of. And 3 of these as well. And you're going to be doing this in teams. First you do this by yourself. You write down this, and in team you will form a group of 3. No, let's say 5. Group of 5s. And then you will have 3 piles in the end. You will have 1 pile for the nouns. You will have 1 pile for the verbs. And you will have 1 pile for the attributes. I mean, like what kind of, like this, together. There is plenty of paper there, plenty of paper here, plenty of paper there. And then what you will be doing after that, in your team, individually, each one of you will come and pick 1 from this pile, 1 from this pile, and 1 from this pile. And you will probably have there, like you say, let's say, you will have a space, hairy, and running. And now from these 3, you need to come up with an idea of some sort. Running, hairy, and space. Okay, what that could be? It could be, what that could be? What kind of idea you could come out of, like hairy, space, running? Okay, I have an idea. It could be, an idea for Elon Musk that, when he's taking people to the space, there will be like this hairy running competition. Only hairy people can participate. I'm coming up this right now, So this is what you will be doing. Like you will be actually trying to create an idea of some sort. It can be an event, it can be a product, it can be a process, it can be whatever. Like, combining these 3 into some sort of like thing, an idea. You get the idea? You know what you'll be doing. Okay, so group of 5s. Try to find somebody who you haven't worked with yet. And then silently, like, write down these, but don't take too much time on that. Like 1 minute, just like really simple things. 3 nouns, 3 verbs, 3 attributes, and then start working. And we have approximately 5 minutes for this.
I can turn here. So we still need
Okay.
one more version?
Paper. Yes. What is fine? 4 is also fine.
Okay.
4 is also fine. Just
Yeah, okay. Okay, yes. Okay, perfect. Yes.
Wait, Emil, could you give me some?
Yeah, sure.
Did you find teams? Did you find teams? You find teams? Everybody found a team? And when you come to the phase of ideation, when you actually pick up the papers, remember that your team members can also help you. It's not like it's only your duty to come up with an idea. The team members also are supposed to help you. Yes, good. Good, good. I think there's no, but here. Here. This is how we get more paper. There you go. How much you need?
One more.
There you go. Does somebody need some more paper? Put them so that you know that you can see that. Okay. Yeah. Yes. There you go. There you go. Is that enough? Good.
Like 3 objects, 3 words, and
Yes.
3 nouns.
Okay, are you starting to be ready with your piles? Yes, then start working and remember your team members have to help you. If you can't come up to say what is your 3 words and come up with an idea out of that, what it could be.
Okay.
Should we mix them and throw it?
It changes the music with the steps. So if you go faster,
Are we gonna go like one?
Yes, you can start and then you just read them and you can show them into it too.
A fast rock and explode.
What that could be.
I build a really big fat rock that when it explodes, it absorbs all the CO2 and we have carbon negative.
Nice. And when somebody has come in with an idea, applaud them, like give them a high five, you know, yes. Okay, so did you're starting to work already?
Yep.
Yes, good, good. And then when somebody comes with an idea, like give them like, okay, nice, high five, great job, you know. Yes. Give your team members high fives and applauses when they're done. Great job. Remember that. Give your team members a high five when they come up with an idea. High fives, yes, applauses, yes. Yes. That's a lovely meat board burning. Nice. Nice. Remember to give high fives and applauses to your team members when they come up with an idea. Like yes, 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 yes. Good. Two more minutes. 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. So did you do already? Everybody? Okay, go another round then. 2 minutes. Did you applaud? Did you give high fives to your team members and everything? You remember to say like, yeah, you're great. I love you. You know? Did you remember? Yes, that's good.
So if you want, like, search for something really fast, like, can you guys watch Nordic Rebels? Do you know how she has the last episode?
Last minute. Last minute.
Maybe also augmented reality, so you have this rain showers, but then you have explore, maybe you have a
So you
mountain
feel like you're
around you have augmented reality.
Yeah, you could feel like in a rainforest and it's like rain.
Where we could just see what
Okay, give an applause to your team and give high fives and say I love you, you're great, you're awesome, you're the best ideator ever. Yeah, yes, 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 yes. Okay, come here, come back here. Come back here. Say to your team that I love you, you're the best ideator ever. I love this team. You're great, awesome, everything like that. Okay, let's continue so that we can wrap up this whole thing. So what we just did was, it was called the idea machine. It's a super simple tool if you're planning or trying to come up with ideas for anything, like for anything. Now that you know, you came up with random words, but if we had, for example, an event coming, we could have had like, the event is the word that doesn't change ever. Then you just have like the, you know, doings and then adjectives, like meaning like how, what kind, and then you just add those to that word, with that specific thing that you're trying to develop, and then you will get like maybe ideas that are a little bit more random and not like the obvious ones. You get the whole idea. Yeah. How was this for you? How was it?
Fun.
It was fun. Good. You remember what I said in the first when I started?
Have fun.
Yes, have fun, and then you will learn stuff. Okay. So now the last thing before we wrap this up and you get to go and have a break is learnings. I need you to write down next things for yourself. What are the things you want to remember tomorrow from this session of ours? It can be anything. Remember, I showed you I presented my work. I talked to you about, creativity, very little. I talked to you about group processes. I talked about 5 dysfunctions of a team. What are the things that you want to remember? We also tried the tools, me, we, us. I talked to you about no criticism at all, very critical. I talked to you, you tried out the idea machine, you made lists. What else did you do? You draw portraits. You have done a lot of stuff. So what are the things that you want to remember tomorrow from this session of ours? What are the most important learnings? Like, what are the things that you want to apply into your life or your studies or your work tomorrow? And what do you want to integrate into your daily routines? So what do you want to take out of this session of ours? Things you want to remember tomorrow. 2 minutes. Okay, last 30 seconds. Sorry, I'm gonna grab these markers. Okay, you can continue this list of learnings as well after we've finished. But now your duty is to share your learnings with the person sitting next to you. Really quickly, let's go through like what did you learn and what do you want to remember tomorrow. Okay, 1 minute. 1 minute. The person sitting next to you.
I want to remember
Our ideas always start with easy.
I've always done brainstorming just like the way you should not do it. Just like so basically like
Okay, let's wrap this up. I want to hear a couple of learnings that somebody wants to share. Just few learnings that you want to take out of this. Please, quickly, whoever. Come on. Yes, you can just shout. Yes, you.
So focusing on creating ideas first rather than good ideas?
Yes, focusing on creating ideas, like huge amount of ideas before, being critical. Yes, good. Yes.
Linearity is an illusion. Don't be afraid to take shifts to different directions.
Yes, good. Yes?
Anyone can do art.
Yes, yes, or be creative, yes, yes. And?
Challenge paradigms can be radical.
Okay, challenge paradigms, that can be radical. Nice, good. What else? One more.
Have fun.
Have fun, yes! Give an applause to that. Okay, and now I want you to remember I said that I'm going to ask you to evaluate me. Haha, this is a new thing, you know, students evaluating teachers. So, and that will happen with the 5-finger technique. So soon I'll be asking you to close your eyes. And then I will be asking you to lift up a certain amount of fingers. If you're going to give me one finger, it means that this sucked big time. I hated to be here. It was a total waste of time. 2, that you will be like, okay, I had like, there was light in the end of the tunnel when I got into the coffee break, kind of. 3, this was a mediocre workshop. Didn't get, yeah, something new, but something like what really lacking. 3, this was a good workshop, but something was still missing. 5, this was a really useful workshop. I got inspired and I found some good, useful tools. And then when I say like open your eyes, keep your hands up. We will see what kind of evaluations your co-peer students gave. Okay, close your eyes. Put your hands up. Open your eyes. Keep your hands up. Okay, we have a fist. We have 5s and 4s and 4s and 5s and 5s and 5s and 5s and 4s and 4s and 5s and 5s. Thank you, that's great. Okay, I want to thank you and I applaud you and have a great autumn with each other. Yes, one more. Yes. Please return all the markers here if you have them somewhere there. Sorry, I'm so late. I'm so late. I'm so